Sri Anandamayi Ma ki Jai. Later, when the conversation again reverted to Dhyan and Asana, Sri Ma said, "Look, if you spend hour after hour sitting in a certain posture, if you become absorbed while in that pose and are unable to meditate in any other, it shows that you are deriving enjoyment from the posture. This also constitutes an obstacle. When one first starts practicing japa and meditation, it is of course right to try and continue in the same position for as long as possible. But as one approaches perfection in these practices, the question as to how long one has remained in one posture does not arise. At any time and in any position, lying, sitting, standing, or leaning over to one side, as the case may be, one can no longer be deterred by anything from the contemplation of one's ideal or the beloved. Nothing external interests one. The only thing that seems attractive is to be seated in one's favorite posture as long as possible and to contemplate the supreme object of one's worship, plunged in a deep inner joy. This marks the beginning of single mindedness and hence is a step in the right direction. Yet, here a great prominence is given to posture. If one stays in that position as long as the inclination lasts, confident that the beloved can never do one harm, and if one is able to remain fixed in it, then the posture becomes of overwhelming importance. This only shows that one is nearing perfection in the practice of asana. Standing, sitting, walking, in fact, any gesture taken up by the body is called an asana. It corresponds to the rhythm and the vibration of body and mind at any particular moment. Some aspirants can meditate only if seated in the pose indicated by the Guru or formulated in the Shastras and not otherwise. This is the way to proficiency in meditation. On the other hand, someone may begin his practice while sitting in any ordinary position. Nevertheless, as soon as the state of japa or dhyan has been reached, the body will spontaneously take up the most appropriate position after the manner that a hiccup happens involuntarily. As one's meditation grows more and more intense, the postures will of themselves correspondingly gain in perfection. When a little air is pumped into a tire, the tire will be flabby, but when it is filled to capacity, it remains completely stable in its own natural shape. Likewise, when real meditation has been attained, the body feels light and free, and on rising after meditation, there is no fatigue of any kind, no pain, numbness, or stiffness in one's limbs. In true meditation, reality is contacted, and just as the touch of fire leaves an impression, this contact also leaves its mark. What happens as a result? Impediments fall away. They are either consumed by vairagya or melted by devotion to the divine. Worldly things seem dull and insipid, quite foreign to oneself. Worldly talk loses all its appeal, becomes devoid of interest, and at a further stage, even painful. When a person's earthly possessions are lost or damaged, the victim feels disturbed, which gives evidence of the stranglehold that sense objects exercise over man's mind. This is what is called granthi, the knots constituting the I-ness. By meditation, japa, and other spiritual practices, which vary according to each one's individual line of approach, these knots become loosened, discrimination is developed, and one becomes to discern the true nature of world of sense perception. In the beginning, one was enmeshed in it, struggling helplessly in its net. As one becomes disentangled from it and gradually passes through various stages of opening oneself more and more to the light, one comes to see that everything is contained in everything, that there is only one self, the Lord of all, or that all are but the servants of the one Master. The form this realization takes depends upon one's orientation. One knows by direct perception that as one exists, so everyone else exists. Then again, that here is the one and nothing but the one. That nothing comes and goes, yet also does come and go. There is no way of expressing all this in words. To the extent that one becomes estranged from the world of the senses, one draws nearer to God. When attaining to true meditation, one's chosen posture no longer represents either an obstacle or a source of enjoyment. In other words, it is quite immaterial in what particular pose one happens to be. Whether one sits straight or crooked, the right posture will form of itself, pulling the body into the proper position. Again, there are occasions when one becomes entirely independent of the physical pose. In whatever attitude the body may happen to be, meditation just comes about effortlessly. Though, without a doubt, there is also a state in which if one takes up a special pose, such as, for instance, Padmasana or Siddhasana, no interruption of one's union with the Supreme Being can ever occur. Sri Anandamayi Ma ki Jai.